Okay, welcome back to the next module. Matt Morris here, and in this module, we're going to be talking about creating your core values. Now, this is really a piggyback to what we did in the last module on creating your definitions. And this is one of the most powerful exercises that you can go through is defining yourself and then following those definitions up with really what I would consider to be rules to live by that reinforce the powerful person that you are. Now, notice that I said the powerful person that you are. Now that we understand how our words create our identity, it's important to speak to yourself as if it's already a reality. So when you say things like, I am becoming a millionaire, or I will be a millionaire, what that says to your subconscious mind is you are not yet a millionaire. So it is much more powerful to say, I am a millionaire. Again, it's lying to your subconscious mind so that your subconscious works to make it true. And again, this is not about lying or inflating the truth to anyone else. This is only about how you're speaking to yourself. So back to core values. Now, here's a quote that I really believe in. Success comes from creating powerful personal values and aligning your life to be congruent with those values. Now, it's interesting that most successful major corporations, if you look at companies like Zappos, Whole Foods, Southwest Airlines, Google, and just about every Fortune 500 company out there, they have a list of core values for their company. So any corporate consultant, any top executive is going to tell you that the companies who live by a powerful core values list are much more likely to create long-term success. So here's what's fascinating. If that's a common factor for corporate success, why is it that almost no one out there defines a set of core values for their own personal lives to live by? Now, personally, I believe that having a personal core values list makes you just much more happy. It makes you more fulfilled. It leads to a prosperous life. It gives you significance. And having a personal core values list, it really determines your priorities. And really, it can be kind of a measure for you to tell if you're living the life that you want to live. Now, when your actions match up with your personal core values list, life tends to be good. You experience more happiness, more fulfillment. When your actions don't match up with your values, that tends to lead to disappointment. So, it's also in a way, core values almost make life easier. So life is easier because if you've established a criteria to live by, decisions are easier to make because you can always ask, what decisions are in alignment with my personal core values? Now, when you've established those, you can use those rules to make decisions on how to live your life. So things that may come up like, should I do business with that person? Should I attend that training? Should I help this particular person? Should I date or marry this person? How should I feel when certain situations come up? How should I communicate with my team? The list is just endless. And when you've taken the time to establish your core values, you can always refer to that list to know if the decision is going to lead to the ultimate life that you want to live. Now, before we get into how to create the list, I'm going to encourage you to post this values list somewhere where you're going to read it every day. If you don't keep the list in front of you, chances are you're going to forget it. Now, I post mine right on my laptop, so I see it every day. It's right there. Now, if you don't spend a lot of time on your computer, maybe post it to your day planner. Put it as an image on the homepage of your computer or on the homepage of your phone or really just anywhere where you're going to see it every day. Now, having the list in front of you regularly, it's going to create a constant reminder of how to live. Now, I'll give you not because you should adopt these values. I'm just going to show you my current list of core values. And as you're creating the list, one thing to keep in mind, stay away from any hard and fast rules. Now, I'm just going to give you mine. I am grateful to God. Now, I personally believe that by having gratitude, that eliminates a lot of the negative emotions that I used to experience on a regular basis. So things like jealousy, envy, if I'm experiencing any of those types of emotions, That's me having a lack of gratitude to God. So when I stay grateful, that keeps me centered. It keeps me happy. Next one, I have fun. See, life is, for me, an adventure. Life should be exciting. Life should be fun. We only have one time around the planet here, so make it fun. Next, smile as much as possible. So again, no rules. If you look at the traditional values, you wouldn't necessarily consider smiling to be a personal value the way most people would think of it, but I put that in there as it's kind of like a physical value, because for me, smiling creates more happiness. It creates more confidence. It also creates more likability, and it also creates a lot of other positive benefits. Now, here's the next one. I wow others with my love and generosity. See, I want to be a blessing to other people. Again, it's life and fulfillment. It's not about what you get, it's what you give. The more you give, the more it comes back to you. Next one, I am authentic and honest. So one of the things that I used to catch myself doing is kind of overinflating my opportunity, or overinflating how easy it is or how simple it is to go out and build the business. And so for me, this keeps me in alignment with my own integrity. Next, I love adventure. So this is a big one for me. The fact that I love adventure, I can create whatever definitions I want for what adventure is. So, one of my definitions for what adventure is challenges. Anytime a challenge comes up in my life, I look at that challenge and say, okay, here's a new adventure for me. And since I love adventure, adventure leads to happiness for me. And so I can have challenges come up. I can have problems come up where most people are going to be knocked down. They're going to be laying in the fetal position, and I'm excited because it's an adventure for me to overcome. Next one, compliment others a lot. Complimentary. What I've found is the more that you compliment others, the more they like you. It's a powerful, powerful way to live in network marketing. Now, I'm not saying you don't necessarily need to put this in for you, but it's something that I found myself lacking a little bit in. I was not edifying properly to people on my team. And so, this was a reminder years ago when I put this down, is to always be in the mindset of complimenting others, of edifying people, of, doing what great leaders do, and that's bringing out the best in others, building other people's belief. Next one, I pursue Kaizen. Again, a value that most people would probably never have. Kaizen is constant and never-ending improvement. It's the Japanese art of constant and never-ending improvement. And so this is always about moving forward. It's always about growing in life. And what I think is true is if you're not growing, you're dying. If you're green, you're growing. If you're ripe, you're rotten. I never want to get to the place where I've arrived. I've always got more learning to do. I can always become a better person. Next one, I am energetic and filled with life. So this is a reminder. Sometimes when I'm feeling a little bit down with my energy, I can look at my core values and say, you know what? Energy, a lot of your energy is having to do with your mindset. And so I can just say, you know what? I'm energetic. I'm filled with life. That helps me become the person that I want to become. Next one, I'm confident and self-assured. So there's going to be moments in all of our lives where we have maybe a little bit of a lack of belief in ourselves. And so this is a reminder for me to be confident, to step through any fears. And, courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is having fear, but doing it anyway. Being self-assured, just reminding myself to always be, confident with who I am as a person. Now, keep in mind, these values for me have changed a lot over the years. For instance, my number one, it used to be happiness, but I eventually didn't feel the need to have that on my list. I didn't have the need to be reminded to be happy, because what I found is by following the other values on my list, it made me happy anyway. So in creating your list, here's a powerful question to ask. Number one, which core values, if you live them every day, would lead to the ultimate life you desire? Here's another question. Which core values, if you live them every day, would lead to the feeling you desire to have? And one more as it relates to network marketing specifically. Which core values, if you live them every day, would lead you to becoming the leader that you desire to be? So the life you desire to have, the feelings that you desire to have, and the leader that you desire to be. If you're wondering how many core values you should create, my recommendation is to create anywhere from 6 or 7 up to a maximum of 10. Now, the tendency we have is to want to list out 20 or 30 different values to live by. But here's what happens. If you create more than 10, you end up losing focus because you're trying to focus on just too many different things. So it's going to be a lot more powerful to have a smaller list, a maximum of 10, in my opinion. Now, I personally create 10 because I figure if God gave Moses the 10 commandments, if 10's a good number for God, it's a good number for me. Now, also realize that some of the values you put on your list may not be the values that you're exactly living by today. Now, don't feel awkward about putting them down because the first step to creating change is defining who you want to be. Now, by defining it, putting it on paper and having it posted where you're going to see it every day, you've got a constant reminder of how you need to be, the actions you need to take to get the result that you want. So it's time to get to work. Stop now and take the time to create your core values. This should not be a quick exercise. You want to take a lot of time. I'm going to provide a list of a bunch of different values that you can go through. Don't even be limited to the list that I put down. Now, if you skip ahead, realize you are not going to get the results that you desire for your life. There's a method to my madness here. Each exercise is building upon the one before it. So if you skip any step in the process, you are literally robbing yourself of the life that you deserve to have. So go ahead and create your list of core values, and I'll see you on the next module.